Deep Blue Sea 4 comes out without Ronnie Cox being in charge, we will all be disappointed. John Pogue, if you're listening, you know what you need to do.
I bet you Ronnie's there right now, shooting.
Still has no lines. Still no lines.
But I think that's why you could have a number 4, because you've already established now that there was someone who wanted this information. Mm-hmm. You can always put a spin that there was some type of file or DNA or some, I don't know, DNA caught on a tracker or something that they can reproduce the experiment. Because Lucas, for all his flaws, you know, he does go quite crazy as the film proceeds. But up to this point, he's doing exactly what he's paid to do. I'd say him and his men are the only people that really kind of understand the true danger involved. Emma doesn't really know what's going on, and Shaw doesn't know what's going on, so they don't really know the extent of the danger. To them, the sharks are still just kind of confused and not where they should be. So I didn't feel bad for him up at this point. You know, things happen later on where you're like, well, you know, it was a fun run, Lucas. But at this point, I don't want to say I sympathized. I understood his motivations.
Yeah, when he becomes a human spin kicking machine later on, then he kind of loses us. But yeah, poor Lucas. He doesn't even get a last name in this movie.
No. He loses us in terms of rooting for him. He does not lose us in terms of being entertained.
Yeah.
When he starts spin kicking, that ratchets up a 1,000-fold.
I'm beginning to kind of enjoy some of the more absurd moments of this film a lot more. Because after watching Deep Blue Sea 2, watching this, it was just a breath of fresh air. But now I'm starting to embrace a lot of the absurdity of it, and it just makes me happy.
Well, this is where the film starts its absurd turns. Because up to this point, it's been fairly sincere and fairly straight. But now we have a shark being held hostage and other sharks understanding. And I'm like, yes, more of this, please. And we do get more of this kind of thing in upcoming chapters. So this is very much a film of two halves, where it starts out a fairly serious, environmentally themed shark movie and turns into, what the hell just happened? Oh my god, his head!
Yeah, shark hostage. And I do like, though, that Nathaniel, Richard Lowell, is really selling his injuries during this scene as well.
Yeah,
I like it. I like a commitment to injury selling, because in Fast and Furious, in the fourth one, Vin Diesel's shot and he forgets about it. In the third XXX movie, I thought Donnie Yen died in it, and then 3 minutes later, he's walking around laughing. So I do like the selling of an injury in this. It made me happy. No sells of injuries are getting old to me. So I do appreciate that he just kept rubbing his side during that, like letting us know that this happened a little bit ago. So I gotta give props to Nathaniel over there for some quality selling of a shark bite that he'll never have to pay for beer again for getting.
Yep, and he doesn't. Yep,
that was quite nice. Yeah, and he doesn't.
Yeah. Now, Courtney, when you first showed us Chapter 5, I was relieved that it wasn't because of the shower scene. Because this is the chapter with the gratuitous female lead in not very many clothes for a short period of time. So I'm glad that you came up with the lie. Oh, it's because of the hostage. It's not because of the Ogle Tanya Raymond in a bikini.
You know what? To be honest, I've watched this film twice, and the shower scene is so forgettable for me.
It's 10 seconds
in this movie.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's not like the Saffron Burrows, I got electrocuted shark and stripped down to make sure I don't get electrocuted moment. So, and it's also not the I don't have a swimsuit that fits me for number 2. So it was just kind of one of those, although there is a moment in an earlier chapter where Emma does something when Lucas and Richard first enters that I felt.
Oh, she covers up.
Yeah, she covered. I don't know if you guys already discussed this in a previous
It didn't come up.
Chapter. Okay, so I'm going to quickly just divert it. The way how she plays that scene doesn't make any sense to me, because they present it as almost of like, don't you guys kind of knock, like you just barge in here, and she covers up almost as if, you know, she just hopped out of the shower and then there's the intruders. And then about a minute or so later, she confidently opens up her top again, and again, she's wearing her swimsuit top, so it's nothing gratuitous, but kind of a confident of like, oh, we women can do it all. How dare you think? No, and I was like, well, why did you cover up in the first place? Like, even my wife was like, that doesn't make any sense why she would do that kind of, I'm modest one moment and then I'm super confident the next, when you didn't need to be modest at all. Like, I don't know. That's the only moment in this film where I was drawn to her body because of her actions. Like, she specifically did something where I went, but that doesn't make any sense.
My only possible theory is that it's just a kind of a gut reaction of there's somebody unexpected. I'm used to walking around in a bikini top and open shirt around these people. These are like my family, but these kind of strangers essentially come in, instinctive cover up, and then
Lucas.
Exactly, and then she kind of got more in her head about it and thought, oh no, this is fine.
Yeah, because I mean, the rest of the film, she's in the bikini top, battling sharks, doing whatever. So I just, that was the only moment where it stuck out, just because it felt such an odd choice for that particular character to make, just based off of everything. Like, I know she's not good with people, but I don't know. It was just, that was the only time where her body became like an important aspect of the film. But yeah, the shower scene was just like, all right, whatever. Like, I would expect that she would shower. I don't know if she would necessarily shower outside, but it's a small place. There's hardly anyone there anyway. So to me, I'm assuming that's just a common occurrence. And I would say, if anything, the men get featured a lot more in this film. Like, there's buff dudes everywhere. You watch
Beefcake Atoll is what we call it.
Yes.
Yeah, the previous episode have started the exact same way, with just a group of shirtless men about to go diving. They both start with the exact same shot, essentially. Yeah.
So I've never really considered, we have the shirt closing, then the shower, and I've never really even given those two thoughts. But then I guess I grew up near the beach in Florida. Whenever you go there, there's those little things that you shower off your feet and your body to get all the salt water off you. So I guess that makes sense to just have a hose out there. I guess it doesn't make sense to like frame it like that, but I mean, I guess it answers some questions. It's like, oh, there's fresh water, they can do that.
Yeah, and Shaw was using that hose to clean off some of the scuba gear in a previous chapter, in chapter 1, I think.
And later on, Maya uses it to ride the shark.
Yes, of course. When
Chekhov's hose.
Yep.
Imagine that scene.
So I mean, it serves a purpose. Like, I will say, it's not like was it Fast and Furious, which is a series I absolutely love, but we're up to what, number 9? We're up to number 9 right now, and it's gotten to the point where by time you hit, I think it was like 5 or maybe 6, it was like, okay, do we need to have the race scene that starts with a girl in a really skimpy skirt? And I think number 7 really like sexualizes the woman starting the race, and you're like, okay, we've been doing this for how many years now? Like, I understand when it first started, you were going for a particular audience, but now you've expanded, you're like a global phenomenon. You don't really need those type of moments. So I don't know if in this particular film, if they want to throw the shower scene in just as, for kicks or whatnot, or if it was like part of the mandate. We need to, all the other films have had some type of scene, but we don't want to necessarily glorify it. So we'll just throw a quick kind of nothing scene. But I mean, when you follow it up with sharks being held hostage, nothing else is memorable.
It's funny that you say that about Furious 7, because it features the most gratuitous. So I did which Fast and Furious movie is the most Fast and Furious. And so I used this really cool Bloomberg thing, Ensure the Gap. They had those for the first 6 movies, and I watched 7 and 8, and I gathered all that data, and I added a few things. But it's funny you said that about Furious 7, because it has the most of those particular type of shots in it. Yeah. Like, it goes furious with gratuitous shots in it. It gets a bit oppressive. You're like, dang, James Wan, like, what were you doing on set, man?
Yeah, exactly.
I went through a project going through all of the casts for all of them and just counting how many people were credited as just like hot girl, foam girl, supermodel, and it was, I think, over 100 by the time I'd counted all of the films. So yeah, they are.
At least 50 of those was the James Wan number 7.
Yes, I think that is the worst one. Yeah.
I'm pulling it up right now. I'll let you know before you get out of here on that. But I want to say, though, my brother and I, we really want to be some of those party goers in one of the Fast, like, I guess we only have 1 or 2 movies left, but I want to be in one of those party scenes in the background, just doing something. I don't know. Standing by a car, cleaning it. That's like my goal.
Covering up a woman. Protecting somebody's modesty.
Doing the opposite. Hey.
Like putting jumpers on people.
And we want to be cops, background cops in a Bad Boys movie. Like that's my brother and I. We want to be in a Fast and Furious and Bad Boys movie.
If you had to pick one, what's your preference?
Oh, Fast.
Yeah,
Fast for sure. Unless I got like a real featured role and Bad Boys is like a stupid mustachioed cop that just gets, I don't know, blown up by like 7,000 bullets but still lives.
Like Joey Pants' nephew kind of thing.
Whoa, yeah. And that Bad Boys 2 chase scene where the cars are flying on the freeway and then there's a report like nobody was killed in this chase scene. Like what?
Everyone was severely maimed.
Yeah, I just went, what are the odds? Like what just happened there?
So if we're doing a Deep Blue Sea Fast 5 style reuniting everyone for this job, who's the Dwayne Johnson like big actor who they need to face off against? Who's going to like revitalize the franchise and become a part of the crew going on?
Scott Adkins.
I knew you were going to say Scott Adkins, but Courtney, can you beat Scott Adkins?
Scott Adkins.
No, I was going to say just bring in Michael Jai White. Actually, I was trying to think of. I was like, well, you know what? You could always just bring in The Rock, but he would.
I feel like he might be a little outside of the budget of Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, so let's say his salary might be a little too high, but Michael Jai White could be perfect. Like you just need someone relatively well known who's known for action, and I think Michael Jai White could do this role.
Yeah,
imagine that. I threw it before
you bring in a few.
Room.
Yeah, bring in a few people that from the past, and then I'll throw in a few new ones. Yeah, that could work.
And then the next one, if 4 does well, 5 you could bring in. I just love the movie Triple Threat with Michael Jai White, Iko Uwais, Tony Jaa, Tiger Chen, Michael Bisping, Scott Adkins, wonderful cast. Just bring them all into it. And then Lundgren. Could Lundgren be a good heavy, or is he past the point?
It could be like the boss of the villains, maybe.
Yeah, I could see him more as the boss. Like I know he's still doing action films, but I think he's at that point now where I find him more interesting when he's, having to just be a regular actor.
Yeah, I feel like watching him having a fight with Ronnie Cox would be fun. Like today.
Cool. I just thought of something. When we were watching this movie, my wife said, "Oh wow, Bren Foster, that looks like Scott Adkins' cousin." So that would be a great way to bring in Scott Adkins as maybe his older brother who owned the company and is also a martial arts master and shark rider. Oh, there it is. It writes itself. And then you can bring in Michael Jai White too.
And of course, Michael Jai White was in the sequel to Sudden Death to bring it all around.
Yes, he was.
I shall be queuing that up right after this film.
I believe he is the star of it.
Yeah. And he's also in Undisputed too, where he fights Scott Adkins. That's a good franchise right there that got better as it goes. Well, I actually like the first one by Walter Hill, but the Undisputed franchise is one that hangs around for a while too. I don't know if you ever watched any of those. Anybody here?
I have not. But he's also apparently in Universal Soldier.
Oh, Scott Adkins? Yeah, he's in Universal Soldier Day of Reckoning. And that's wonderful...
Michael Jai White is in Universal Soldier. He's in the first one. He plays a soldier. It's one of his first roles. So I don't think it's a big part.
I did not know that. You just blew my mind.
There we go. You're welcome.
All right, and now I have one more ranking, and I have to do this. And Jay, I want to do this for you because I know how much you love the Jurassic Park world. So I want you to. I love movies where characters are really good at staring at computer screens. I think computer acting is tough. Like Alicia, I don't like the new Jason Bourne movie, but I think Vikander's screen acting of looking at screens is second to none. It's beautiful. Sandra Bullock in The Net, excellent. But I'm gonna have you rank these 6 characters, and they're all a theme. So Spin from Deep Blue Sea 3, Aaron from Deep Blue Sea 2, Scoggins from Deep Blue Sea, Arnold from Jurassic Park, Lowry and Vivian from Jurassic World, and Jax Hurd, Ruby Rose from The Meg. So how would you rank their computer looking at skills?
Okay.
Courtney brought up hacking earlier, and it made me happy, so it's a good lead-in for that.
I thought you were going to go with Lex from Jurassic Park, Ariana Murphy, because she has a whole lot of hacking secrets.
Okay.
No.
Use Lex.
I'll stick with
either one, right?
I'll stick with Sam Jackson. I love Sam Jackson in Jurassic Park, so it's going to take a lot for him not to be my number one. just because like he is the only one on this list who is believably frustrated with the computer, which I feel like is me on a regular basis. And he's got the cigarette hanging out. He's like been up for 72 hours. It feels like he's just